Before adding watercolour, you want to put in the cross contour lines. These help to give a three-dimensional feel to the drawing and will aid you in deciding which direction to put your paintbrush strokes. Each of the small areas that you'll create by having cross contour lines from vertical and horizontal directions enables you to think space per space what colour needs to be applied. In your palette, mix a range of appropriate flesh colours. Try and create warm and cold versions of the flesh colour. Colours that are more intense and pure, and others which are more tertiary colours that can act as shadow colours. We want to use an Impressionist style, so we're applying the paint in small brush strokes and thinking about how much water to colour should be mixed. Generally speaking, you start off with very, very watery colour, and then you gradually make the paint more intense by adding more of the watercolour paint. Once you've mixed the colour, you can look across the whole drawing to see where it can be applied. So the same colour may repeat in different areas across the whole drawing. If you're new to watercolour, it's probably easier to put some very light colours down and then some very dark colours down. The contrast being easy to pick out and understand. Remember to apply the brush strokes in different directions, even curve the brush strokes around the shape to help show the 3D effect, and think about grouping brush strokes together, applying brush strokes over the top of colour that you've already laid down. Eventually you've got to think of a colour for every small area. So these small brush strokes gradually fill in all the empty white space. Now there might be some strong highlights that you leave white, but these will be very small areas. And then you want to look again and decide whether to adjust shadows and make them darker, and whether those shadows should look a warmish brown colour or a coolish purply colour or even bluish or greenish. Notice that the brush tends to be held halfway down the handle, so the fingers shouldn't touch the metal part of the brush. This way you learn to have a more delicate touch and better control over the different types of brushstroke that you might want to create. Quite often it's better to exaggerate the colours, so making the highlights or the light colours much more of a orangey brown tan colour, and the shadows more purpley. This way you really try and create the effect of light and shadow, and it will help to give a 3D effect. The final drawing may still show the contour lines if you've drawn them quite strongly, but the eye will always be more interested in the colour.